And I'll skip. Oh, we just lost Alan. I saw him when I came in. No, he's not here.
He was here.
Yeah, he must have dropped out.
I
dropped off.
imagine he'll be back. Something happened.
Indeed. And Satya, welcome. Owner, I'm guessing, is Keith.
Yes, hello.
Yes, hello, Keith.
No.
Jai Guru.
An iPhone, is that Beth? Nope. Okay. Oh, it's Alan. Hey.
Oh.
So you're back?
He disappeared. He disappeared behind an iPad.
There you go.
Unidentified identity.
Indeed.
And spontaneous.
Indeed, spontaneous. You're here. One thing to note, someone wrote in and said, it sounds to me like you're saying you just don't live life because it's all illusion and you're letting things pass by or whatever, but you don't get to fully experience this life experience.
Mm-hmm.
And to that, I would say that's absolutely false. When you know yourself in a real sense, you can actually experience the life experience without a you. So it's a clean experience. There's no restless, irritable, there's no, ups and downs and all this sort of stuff. You can live life to the fullest. And I'll, just for this person, give the example of a dream, that in a dream, if you're in a dream and you're an Olympic athlete or whatever, in your dream, you're dreaming that you're running in the Olympics, you give 100% to the running in the Olympics. And there's no harm in this. Just like when you know yourself in a real sense, this vehicle that you're using while you're in the bubble of illusion, enjoy. It's available. That's why Maharaj says a thought comes and it's beneficial. You say, okay, let's do. A thought comes and it's not so good. Okay, don't do. Just push. Okay, now this is happening. Okay, new thing. Very light. And you live life to the fullest. Because there's no identification with anyone where worry and trouble and strife can attach. I'm sorry, go ahead, Satya.
Oh, I started to say something. I don't know if...
Oh, okay. Satya appeared on the screen, so that's why I didn't know if he was asking.
But go ahead if you had. I was just going to say it seemed like I'm starting to connect with some of this. It's easier to discard interference of thinking there's a me.
Yeah. The more you remain with your selfless self, it unravels this concept of a you. Because you know yourself in a real sense, you can't be this body form. Body form's available, okay. Just like you wake up tonight, or not wake up tonight, you go to sleep tonight and you're dreaming and you're assuming a body form and you're doing actions and activities and such, but okay, so perform. You wake up tomorrow morning, oh my God, it was just a dream. But you're not just going to say, oh, I'm dreaming, and sit and do nothing. Okay, I'm dreaming, I'll be over. And no. Spontaneous action in the moment. And true, you're not a doer, there's no deed, and nothing can be done because it's all, you're formless. And this is happening within the formlessness, just as in a dream, there's no deed, no doer, and nothing can be done. But there's the appearance of something. As long as this body form is available, you use it. Simple. Just know that nothing's true, so you don't get hung up about it. And that's why Maharaj, again, he says, go, do your job, do your duties, take care of all your family responsibilities. All these body-based relations, body has a job, you take this body from point A to point B to get to the job, do the job, but you're not so into it. Just like in a dream, you wake up the next morning and you're like, oh, in my dream I was a rock star, and now I'm not. Like I can't hold a tune in the shower. So, but there's no like mourning that you're a rock star. Oh my God, I was a rock star in my dream. I hope I have that dream again. I hope I go back there, or something like this. But yet, while the body form's available, enjoy. So, as this person had written in about, it seems like if I remain with my selfless self and I'm constantly like knowing that it's illusion, and I'm constantly trying to just remain with my selfless self, I'm not participating in life. But nothing could be further from the truth.
It's just the opposite. That's like as if you did have a self that was doing that.
You can absolutely participate in life because you're no longer, it's like Maharaj says, you're the actor on the stage. And you're no longer taking yourself so seriously, like, oh my God, like, what are the people going to think of me and how's this going to happen? No, this body form is available for a time. There's a show that I'm enjoying, and that's it. Just like in the dream. In the dream, tonight, the formlessness stirs, creates a dream world. You attach with a body form within the dream world to have an experience. And when you wake up in the morning, you know it's all not true. Well, when you know yourself in a real sense, you will know that this waking dream is also not true. Doesn't mean you don't participate. Nor does it sap life out of life, unless you enjoyed the fear and the pain and pleasure principle and constantly running after pleasures and only getting pain and then avoiding pain and doing this and doing that, which was all just a mental gymnastic exercise anyway. None of that was actually true. You know, how many times if your boss has called you in and says, hey, I want to talk to you after work, and mind is like, uh-oh, oh boy, what do we do? What's happening? What's this? What's that? What's this? If you know yourself in a real sense, it's like, okay, schedule this, go in, knock, knock. Hello, you wanted to see me? There's nothing like pressuring. There's no fear because this boss is also your own selfless self. So it's just a play. It's just a play of the 5 elements that you are doing. The you that you are, not the little doer that you believe yourself to be.
You would actually feel yourself more on equal footing with the boss, as normally we think
There would not be a sense of separation because you're in your formlessness. You're remaining with your selfless self, and you understand that the scene that's appearing is occurring within your own self, and that both you and your boss are your own self.
Yeah.
And Siddhar Meshwar Maharaj talks about this very beautifully when he says, if you look at like the moon, and you can see the space between you and the moon, and instantaneously you're at the moon. Because you observe the space that's between 2 objects. As long as you're identified with an object, you say this object and that object. But in reality, when you observe the space in which these objects are appearing, and there's kind of a subtle sense of your own self, there's no longer objects, so there's no longer distance. So you pay attention to the space. And I think we had talked about that before. If you get caught, you're in a meeting and you're bored or whatever, you can sit there and observe the space in which all the people are in. And it's an appearance within yourself. And you just observe the space. It's like this bubble, and you're sort of just looking inside. And now who can harm you? What can happen to you? Even if the building blows up while all the people are gathered at a table, you're unharmed. And that's why Maharaj says, simply, if at all you want to compare yourself to sky or space. Let the seer see nothing but the space in which objects appear, and automatically the seer understands that it's formless seeing. Because this object is also within the space that I am. And then you start to think, well, how can there be separation? If everything's appearing within the space, all forms are only perceived within the space, and the seer is formless. How can there be any separation?
Does that have to be maintained, or is it you have to?
You know yourself. This is automatic. It's spontaneous. You just,
But
when you
if
know yourself in a real sense, this is the position.
But if you notice your mind starting to go back into that,
Go back into what?
into thinking there is a self, and
Dualistic. Yeah. Well, then you remain with yourself as self. This is why the story of
so
the Buddha.
that's not. It wouldn't be. It's not really maintaining. It's just more of a recognition, rather than maintenance.
Well, it's once you know. This is why Nisargadatta Maharaj talks about when you drink poison, you know the effect. This poison will kill you. Yes? So you remain with yourself as self, you know yourself, the conviction comes also that I am that. And now go about your daily duties. Even if a thought comes, oh, this seems very serious, maybe I should drop out of myself and go back into the limited body form. This is a silly thought, like it doesn't make any sense. And you always remember that the mind can only present to you things because the mind came along with the body. So the mind, every thought will be about the body-based experience that you absolutely know is not true because you remain with your own selfless self. So the mind says, oh, look over here. No. It's okay. Nice. Very happy. And the Buddha, they talk about the story of the Buddha where he's sitting on the tree and then like the demons come and then the women come and they try to dance and all this sort of stuff. This is a basic story to say you remain with your own selfless self. No matter what's dancing outside, you know it's illusion. So why give up your own self for this passing thing? And in truth, you can't give up your own self. You're all there is. So how would you, the all that is, the reality, how would reality give up reality?
It's just that seeming always kicks in,
Well, even if reality gave up reality, it would be a concept of giving up reality, and it'd still be reality. The only way reality could give up reality is to have the concept, this is reality, and I'm renouncing it. And that's why we talk about renouncing the renouncer. You say, oh, I'm going to renounce, I'm going to not do, I have nothing to do with the world and no worldly things. And there are spiritual people around who are wearing the beads and walking around and saying, oh, no, I don't do anything. I'm a non-doer. I'm renouncing the world. But you need to renounce the renouncer. And you can't renounce the renouncer. It's just a discovery that there never was anyone to renounce or nothing to renounce. And this discovery is within, oh, so that I am that. Coming as a sense of presence when you remain with yourself through meditation while using this body form to discover and go deeper and deeper inside your own selfless self. And then even that is discarded because the sense of presence, oh, that's very nice. Okay, Master says when the sense of presence is there, 24 hours I'm in the I am. So this means this sense of presence is sort of still a perceptual dualistic way of thinking. Just like we said, the reality now has a concept of reality. And so by remaining with reality, all concepts will dissolve and disappear. even the concept of remaining with reality, that there's something that can remain with reality. Reality is, that's it, and you are that. And that's why Maharaj also says, where all experience ends, there you are.
Yeah, I was gonna mention today I was feeling like I was recognizing uh, it starts with kind of like lately I've been noticing that nothing is not nothing, or there's something that I can seems to be like a nothing. But
What
anyway,
knows nothing? You.
um, anyway, I felt myself today going into I couldn't the best way I could describe it would be formless depths of presence. But you're what you were just saying in the last minute or two was that's presence, and that's still something that you is appearing on reality.
Well, and again, this will be known. If you're remaining as presence, this is wonderful. This is very excellent. You know, as Maharaj said, the spiritual steps, and you are. If you're remaining as presence,
It's coming to
then
me.
you
It's not me doing it. You know, it's just
exactly.
yeah.
You know you're not the body form if you're remaining as presence. It will dawn on you that I am also the witness of presence, or this presence appears to you. And then you'll understand that whether presence is here or presence is not here, you are. And that the entire world has been projected because of presence or on presence. Just like at night, you lay down to sleep, the dream consciousness stirs due to the fact that there's a feeling I exist, and a dream world is projected. This entire dream world has been projected on presence or from presence because of the knowledge I exist. And yet, then you go into deep sleep, and there's no longer the sensation of presence, but you're still very much there. You're just not knowing yourself or anything other than yourself. And you know you're there because in the morning, you're waking up. The body form is, oh. So you have these different states that are appearing on you.
It still seems in that way you're describing it there. It seems like the real me only exists as an implication of the waking state.
No, the real you is all there is. All these states are appearing. You're continuous. That's how, like, you wake up, right? There has to be something that's not sleeping to wake up.
Yeah,
Otherwise, there's
but
no
that's by
waking.
implication. That's according to logic and implication, though, because we're using words.
Yeah, well, and you have to use words to be able, otherwise, you know how. The words are
So,
in deep sleep, the sense of existence, which creates the, so to speak, presence, the feeling I exist, which then projects this dream world. Same in the waking state. There is a no knowingness, what we call deep sleep. Deep sleep is there's no knowing I exist. Then there's a stirring of I exist, and a dream world is created.
but in that case, it sounds like we're calling reality that is. It almost sounds like the reality is the like we know the reality as a object or a subject, but that's not
No, it's like the
teaching
background of
go.
all these. It's the background of all experience. All experience appears in your spontaneous presence. Without
But
your presence, nothing can appear.
that's where it has to be a direct present experience. Otherwise, it's not real.
No, I mean, you know yourself in a real sense because once you see this you can't like intellectualize because this is beyond mind. So you can't sit there and say, these are the building blocks to get to this. When you remain with your own selfless self, the coin drops and it just finishes. There's not a
Then it
right
is
here. You just go, and it's the end of all concepts. There's absolutely nothing. Body form's still available, but there's literally, like, you could even keep saying, okay, well, where is this? Where is this? But there is no where. There's,
I guess that might is yet to come for me or whatever.
and that's fine. While you're remaining with your spontaneous presence, this is good. You're no longer identifying with the body. So you no longer be saying, oh, my mind is this, my mind is that, because mind can't say anything about the presence other than it feels good. It can label it and say, this is bliss.
It does, that's why I say it does feel good. Why does it feel good? You know, rather than bad, it feels
Well,
good.
you have a body form,
Mm.
and this is the cup of immortality. You're like dipping into the nectar of immortality with this cup. The cup is the body. And so, yes, you can have that spiritual intoxication because this body form is available. And that's sort of like, I don't want to say reward, but that's sort of the reward for remaining with your selfless self. So you'll go deeper because you are going to eventually enjoy the sense of your own existence more than any of the illusory items that seemingly appear. And you will want, that's what Maharaj talks about, selfless self-intoxication. Think about intoxication. You drink and drink and drink and drink and drink and drink this nectar of immortality, and that is all you want.
It's not accessible by memory.
It is not. No. I mean, you can sit there and maybe say, I had this feeling that was just amazing. But see, if you do this, then you're going to try and repeat this because the dualistic way of thinking is I had this amazing experience. I want it to continue. I want it to happen again. Or I'm afraid that it'll never happen again. These are the three kind of ways that are not so wonderful because you're giving it to a mind that can never create the experience. And like Ramana Maharshi says, you hire the thief to catch the thief. You give to the mind the fact that you want this absolute bliss experience, but the bliss experience came with the absence of mind because you were no longer paying attention and flowing along with all the thoughts that were taking you away from your own selfless self. So you cannot do this. It is.
It's very deceptive.
So you just remain with your selfless self. And you're your own ashram, like Maharaj says. You remain with your selfless self. You just sit in this bliss. Okay, very nice.
So, some teach, or I've seen it in my investigations occasionally on, or in the past on the internet, where people were saying it's not good to just bliss out, but I'm not sure why it's not good to.
Well, you don't want to stop, because just like Siddharameshwara Maharaj talks about, as you get closer and closer to your selfless self, miracles may appear. They talk about all the different siddhas, all the different powers that the people can possess as they start to go into their own selfless self. And this is meant not to say like, oh, I have these siddha powers. No, it's meant as a warning because it's illusion. If you're going with your selfless self and you get, quote, blissed out, and you're one of these people who's traveling around to all the different ashrams, just like, namaste, my brother. Oh, so much peace, so much love. I love, love, love the world. We are one. It's not good because you're going within the illusion and you're basically, I think Maharaj says it's spiritual band-aid. And you're never going to go deeper because you're very happy. You're so happy with the bliss and the kisses and the hugs and the bowing and the, oh, wow, the world outside is very scary. I'm going to sit here in my bliss. And then God forbid someone disturbs your bliss, which is actually a very funny thing because no one can actually disturb your bliss. But the concept comes, there's someone disturbing my bliss. Or it's been a while since I've been on this spiritual retreat. I need to go and put more money on this spiritual retreat so I can feel that bliss again. What? No. The bliss is there to allow you that presence, that sense of existence, is so that you, the you that you are, understand. And it, like I said, it's like Maharaj calls spontaneous conviction. Spontaneous conviction. Oh, so that I am that. I'm the knower of the sense of presence. Presence has appeared. Whether it's there or not, I am. Whether this body form is here or not, I am. Whether this world is here or not, I am. And that's why Jesus said before Abraham was, I am. Because this is the absolute reality, the absolute truth. You have to discover this for yourself. 100 million gurus can tell you this, but until you know this from your own selfless self in direct experience, you know, and that's why presence, if you're saying, you know what, I understand I'm presence, I'm remaining in presence, and it really feels good. Good. Now, the more you sit in your meditation or the more you're going through your daily activities, knowing that you're presence, you'll no longer be getting these layers of illusion and covering yourself with them from mind flow of thoughts. You'll remain with your selfless self. And then you will very much understand that presence is also an object within my own self. The most subtle, but if it's an object, that means whether it's there or not, I am. And it can't be there without me. And the entire world is projected on spontaneous presence. The concept of separation is gone because presence is formless. All these are objects occurring on the screen. And when the presence is no longer there, when I no longer know I exist, well, that's the knock, knock on the door. Who's there? Nobody's there. But somebody had to be there to say nobody's there. You had to be there for the sense of existence to appear. Otherwise, to whom would it appear? And you are that. That's why, like Sri Ramakant Maharaj tells the story of Tatvama Se, it's like, this was all they really said. This was, I think it was, they talk about a story about this guy, he was with his guru, and he did service for his guru. And then when the guru was going to leave the body, he wrote a note for his disciple, but a lady came in and found the note. And so when the disciple came in and saw that the guru was dead or had left the body, he said, oh, he didn't leave me anything? I've been with him for 10 years. She says, no, no, no. He left this note, but you need to do service for me for 10 years. And so, and this is the talking about the illusion, what we go through. And so he did service to this lady for 10 years. Then at the end of 10 years, she was going to say, you need more. But a traveling guru came through and told this lady, no, 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 no. You need to give him the paper now. And so the lady gave him the paper. And on this paper was written, Tatvam Asi, or Tatvam Ase, which is, you are that. And the story goes that the disciple really got into that, knowing that this was the special message from his guru. He took it with full force and full understanding and full desire to know. And then that's it. And the whole story about him having to work for the guru and work for the lady and all this sort of stuff. No, you are that. You never had to do anything. You're covered with illusion, as Maharaj says, the ash, and underneath is the fire. You remove the ash. That's it. Fire is burning. Fire keeps burning, no matter what.
John, sometimes the intoxication of the selfless self seems like it's just almost overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah.
And then is that not good to become so overwhelmed with it? Or what do you think?
When you're focusing your attention on your own selfless self,
Yeah.
this is where that spiritual, like that just the nectar of immortality, it's called, the feeling, the selfless self-intoxication. You go deeper and deeper and deeper in your own selfless self. It's beautiful that you're in this, and sometimes, yes, it's very overwhelming. You can look out a window sometimes and suddenly just be overwhelmed with
Yeah.
just absolute feeling of, yeah. However, you know that this is a feeling. The feeler is important, the feeling is not. Yes, the feeling's there. And yes, you're overwhelmed by it. But that's when you go deeper and deeper and deeper in your selfless self. As Maharaj says, this body is a magic box. And you're to investigate this body. Inside this magic box, the holder of the body, which is invisible, anonymous, unidentified identity, that you are. Where all experience ends, including the bliss experience, including the selfless self-intoxication, the sense of existence, the I am, where all experience ends, there you are. And then your life becomes scenes appearing and disappearing that you're fully in, but you're not. Maharaj talks about the actor on the stage, and that's probably the best example you can use, other than in the dream. You're doing all these activities and you perform them fully.
Sometimes when I just listen to you, I move into that intoxication.
Because that's your own self. Speaker and listener are one and the same. So there's a recognition in the projection. There's a discarding of concepts, because there's no, you're speaking directly to your own self in two different body forms.
Yeah.
And you're recognizing this.
Mm-hmm.
There's a recognition.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not my own self. It's not like I own it. It's not an individual like
No,
this.
it's selfless self, self without self. Like a orchestra, basically. All the various instruments are being played. A song is created from this. All these various instruments are being played, and the song, so to speak, are the words that are being spoken about your own self. Here we speak nothing about anything other than your own self, because it's your own self speaking to yourself, asking questions about the doubts you may have about not being yourself that just need to be removed. And when the question and answers are happening, then it's, oh, okay. And that's it. Same when you read I am that from the perspective of all the people are the selfless self, all those questioners, wherever it has a Q, that's the selfless self. And Nisargadatta Maharaj absolutely knows this. And when the selfless self is asking a question, it's based on the illusory concepts that it seems to be clinging to due to identification with that particular body form. And Nisargadatta Maharaj answers the question to help remove the concepts that are being held by the selfless self because of identification with that particular body form.
Mm-hmm.
And you are that does that very nicely. Because this John body is not that. Oh, yes, I am God. What? No. Like, how? Am I everywhere all the time in all things? No. But you are. Because there is no I, unless you say I is everything. But, and that's why when we're speaking, we say you, because I'm not directing it at Keith. Keith is no more just like this words that are on that little black box. Keith.
Yeah.
That's about as much Keith as there is.
I decided to be a black box tonight too.
Yeah, there you go.